Yo, so I flew out. Well, I didn't technically fly you out. So what do you think I'll say? So one of my clients, one of my clients and mentees from 3 years ago flew out from Buenos Aires, Argentina to Puerto Rico to, let's try that one more time. I think you have to come in, can you come in a little closer?
Yeah.
Like maybe, yeah, just like that. So one of my clients' mentees from Buenos Aires, Argentina, flew out to Puerto Rico in the United States to come live with me for a week. And I want to talk about, with Armel here, some of the biggest learning lessons that you've been able to experience just living with me, hanging out with me,
Yeah.
literally living in our guest bedroom over the past basically week. So first off, give a quick intro. Who are you, Armel, and what is it that you do? How did you come across me too?
Okay, so how's it going, everyone? My name is Armel. I'm 23 years old. I basically met Richard through YouTube. I saw a YouTube video of him 3 years ago, actually.
2021, yeah.
I think the YouTube video was like a day in the life of a 21-year-old millionaire or
Seven-figure entrepreneur.
seven-figure entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I saw that video. I couldn't believe it. It was like, man, it had a photo with a nice car. I
Yeah.
think it was a BMW
I8.
i8.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, so I clicked on the video. I saw this guy, really high performance, really motivated and disciplined, and I kind of wanted to know more about
Yeah.
what you were doing back then. So later on, I joined your.
So you went through you went through my mentorship program, right?
Yeah.
So you were watching my videos, you got involved. I think you clicked on one of the links and then you sent me a message and then you jumped on with my team. You went through the whole funnel.
Yeah,
right?
I did.
Yeah,
Your team sold me pretty well.
Yeah.
And I started doing your program. I
Yep.
was launching my own fitness offer. I
Yeah.
wanted to become an online fitness coach. And I really learned a lot about when I bought your product. I
Yeah.
learned a bunch of stuff on how to sell on social media and
Yeah.
how to grow your channel as well.
So I think that's really cool because there's a lot of information out there that teaches you on how to build a business online.
Yeah.
But you specifically joined the high performance influencer program. What do you think were the things outside of business that you were able to learn that stuck out to you the most?
I'd say one of the few things I learned the most about you in the program was the fact of being very focused towards something, also the productivity, being
Yeah.
a high performance person, which means working out daily, eating healthy foods, having a healthy lifestyle overall. Those are a few things that really stuck with me along the way. And also, I also learned a lot about exposing myself to a different kind of network because
Yeah.
back then I didn't know anything about online business. Back in
Yeah.
2020, 2021, online businesses weren't such a big of a deal.
Yeah.
But really learned a lot on how to create a new offer,
Okay.
how to sell your product, how to get audience, how to sell to your followers.
Okay.
So many things.
And in the last 3 years, so for some context, we became really good friends because I moved out to Buenos Aires, Argentina, because my girlfriend, Leticia, at the time, was going to medical school in Argentina. And you sent me a DM on Instagram. And what did you say?
I was like, oh my God, Richard, I can't believe you're here in Buenos Aires, which is my city.
Uh-huh.
And I think I told you we should go out for dinner.
Yeah.
You were with some friends as well, and I
Yeah.
told you I wanted to meet the whole gang.
Yeah.
So I texted you, we should do a plan. We should do something, man.
Dude, I think that first and foremost is such a huge lesson because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Yeah.
I actually found my first mentor through DMing Joel Marion on Instagram.
Yeah.
I messaged him 43 times on Instagram to finally get his attention. And man, that's so annoying. I don't know what the hell that is. Anyways, you found me on Instagram by relentlessly sending messages, follow up. And that's the craziest thing. Like, guys, you have to understand that entrepreneurs have an Instagram account, and yes, their team, their assistants, they might be in there, but they're active. I'm active in my DMs, and yes, I can't respond to everyone, but you message me.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing was, this is also a God thing. We
Yeah.
were within like 10 minutes walking distance
Yeah,
of
we
each
were
other.
in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
This was in Puerto Madero. I was
Puerto Madero,
working
yeah.
within the area, and
Uh-huh.
I think you were staying 2 blocks away from me at the SLS.
Yeah.
Say-
We were literally 2 blocks away from each other, walking distance.
Yeah.
And so I responded to the DM. I said, "Yeah, man, let's go grab dinner." And then we grabbed dinner, and that was the night that we became really good friends, right?
Yeah.
Okay, super. And it's actually been really cool because we became really good friends. The whole time, kind of mentoring, coaching you.
Yeah.
We mastermind and bounce ideas.
A lot.
You give me really good ideas from a consumer viewing my content as well. So you give
Yeah.
me content advice, and I think it's really cool because now you are in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to focus on here in this video, which is, what do you think, if you could summarize to the 3 biggest lessons that you've learned living with me for the last week, what would you say are those 3 biggest things? First biggest lesson, what do you think?
I'd say one of the things I saw about you, like
Uh-huh.
your routine and the way you live your life, is that you are an operator, right?
Okay.
And for being a business owner, you have to be an operator. You cannot become a business owner, watching sports or just playing PlayStation,
Okay.
or doing some, or wasting time overall. I haven't
Yeah.
seen you scrolling on Instagram ever
Okay.
during this whole time.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. Like your way of operating is very structured, very disciplined. You have your own food schedule, your own
Yeah.
sleep schedule, your workout schedule. You're really focused on how
For
you do things.
for when people, if they're a little confused by what being an operator means,
Yeah.
what do you think being an operator means?
Just being a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a
Well,
machine.
I would put it that way. Like being very disciplined.
Okay.
And I know that discipline, sometimes it would sound like you're private of a lot of things, but discipline is actually the way of how you can become free on anything in life.
Yeah.
Like you have this very beautiful house and it is a very good lifestyle, all because you were disciplined
Right.
throughout the way. And I'd say you keep doing it. You haven't changed anything about your routine
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, the interesting thing is this way that I live has been the way that I have lived
Yeah.
since 17 years old, 18 years
Yeah.
old. Like the last 5, 6, 7 years of my life has always been like this, never changed. Okay, so one thing I think is living with me, you literally see my routines. I'm not faking it.
Yeah, you're
right?
not,
I'm
you're
literally
not-
doing it.
Literally,
right?
you are like
I'm doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the first thing. Second thing, what do you think was the second biggest thing that you've learned?
second biggest thing is the fact of exposing oneself to a different environment, especially to a better environment.
Okay.
When we grow in any area of life, I feel like we always tend to look up to the people that are in the next level than we
Yeah.
want to be, right?
Yeah.
So, for you in this case, you've mentioned me that you moved down here because you wanted to expose yourself to
environment.
a new environment.
The cheapest rent in this entire neighborhood was $17,000 US per
Yeah.
month.
Hell,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And well, clearly this neighbor has a lot of like great entrepreneurs, great business owners, and also a lot of money. That's it has a next level of overall success. And
Yeah.
I know that word maybe has different meanings, but
Yeah.
this is actually success. This is greatness overall. We've been in the Ritz-Carlton neighborhood, which is a total greatness and just looks like a paradise to me. And I feel like the fact of exposing myself to this kind of environment makes
Yeah.
me think, okay, there are plenty more things in life that I can achieve,
Right.
actually. Because if these people have achieved this,
Yep.
not anyone can do it. Only the people who are disciplined enough to do it,
Yep.
doing it, just like you did.
Right,
you
right.
know?
But here's the interesting thing, though.
Yeah.
You got yourself into this environment
Yeah.
physically. So you physically have earned this environment.
Absolutely.
But the way that you got your foot in the door to get into this was actually, funny enough, online.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Like, can anyone just walk in and, oh, Richard, can I please hang out with you? Can I
No,
live in your house?
totally not.
Can your wife please cook for us? And can I eat your food? Can I sit in your car? Can I hang out with you? No, not everyone can do this. You got your foot in the door actually through an online mechanism.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the craziest thing. I think a lot of people, they need to understand this, which is a lot of people are like, oh, I would never invest into a $49 a month subscription. Oh, I would, $500 course? Scam. Oh, $5,000 coaching program? Scam. But the thing is, online communities is
Yeah.
where you build relationships. And when you build relationships, those relationships turn into real human life relationships,
Yeah.
just like we are right now.
Yeah.
Right? And so this all started because you invested first in yourself in an online community and you reached out to me online. Right? And this is not some salesy thing of, oh, you got to join Richard's community. No, no, no. Join anyone's community.
Yeah.
But join the community of the mentor that you want to learn from.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Honestly, I think, and I'm not trying to, again, be salesy here, I'm not trying to give too much credit. What actually it is giving too much credit to you, but I think one of the best decisions I've made in my life was signing up into your program.
Yeah.
And not because of the actual program itself, obviously I learned a lot. I learned how to create an offer, how to sell on social media, how to create a content. But the fact of joining that community first gave me so many resources, such as friends, such as this relationship with you as friends, many other friends that we've also hung out a lot with
Yeah.
in Buenos Aires, in Bariloche, in many different places.
Yeah.
And also the fact that nowadays everything works online, and you can meet really good people online,
Yeah.
especially if you invest, especially if you put an effort into something that you know you're gonna get a good value out of it,
Okay.
such as friends,
Yeah.
good experiences.
Okay.
I'd say overall, I honestly say it's has been one of the best decisions in my life.
Super. I'll ask you another thing, which is, and then I want to go into your third learning lesson of
Yeah.
living with me here. But one of the things I think when it comes to finding a mentor, because a lot of people are like, well, who do I learn from? It's so noisy, right? There's so many influencers out there. A lot of really good people post a lot of good information, but who do you learn from, right? And one of the things that one of my mentors told me is, Richard, you don't just want to find the person that has the lifestyle that you want, like the career path. So if you want to learn, I don't know, e-commerce, then you find an e-commerce mentor. If you want to learn how to build an online course or education business, then you follow someone like myself, right?
Yeah.
But more importantly than what they've achieved, it's the values that they have, right?
Totally.
Values, valores. And
Totally.
so, what do you think it was? Because obviously you decided to learn from me, see me as one of your key mentors.
Yeah.
What do you think it was from a value standpoint that stuck out, that separated myself from perhaps all the other influencers out there?
Well, I think I've told you this quite a lot of times.
Yeah.
The fact that you were a really disciplined and motivated person.
Okay.
I was looking at your videos. We were waking up at 4:45 a.m.
But there's a lot of people that are motivated, disciplined. There's David Goggins, Jeff, Jocko Willink,
Yeah.
Navy SEAls, military people.
Yeah.
But what was the separating factor?
I'd say it looks like is you were doing it not for the flex or not for showing off or anything. You were doing it because you knew it was good for you.
Sure.
And that is something that I admire. People who are disciplined because
Okay.
they know that eating healthy is good for them.
Yeah.
Or not taking alcohol, drinking alcohol, or going to parties or whatever it be. Right.
Yeah.
For me, that really stuck a lot, and also, yeah, what you were saying previously. I feel like in social media there are plenty of different characters and people around, and you have to follow those people that you feel identified with.
Right.
So I was feeling very identified with the fact that you were a high performance guy.
Okay.
Back then I was doing a lot of running. I was taking really good care of myself, which I'm still doing it. But you were like, okay, this guy is really the next level of high performance. I want to achieve what he's doing. I want to have his own routine.
Right.
And that was a really motivated thing for me.
Okay. Let that helicopter pass by. And on the topic of, let that pass.
We have the airport right next to us.
No,
No,
there's no
when
airport.
When I was getting here, I think
There's a helipad. There's a helipad.
oh, there's
yeah,
a
helicopter.
helipad?
Yeah, for
I
helicopter.
think the plane where it went above us.
Okay.
Above me when I was arriving.
So, on the topic of values, what do you think separates my values from all the other entrepreneurs that you see online? So you talk about high performance, but I feel like there's something more that specifically for you.
Yeah. Well, I think I learned a lot about God.
Okay.
Like since I met you, I also through my family I also had a close encounter with God and with my worship towards God. But you really learned me a lot on how to like become closer and also relying on Him a lot.
Okay.
After your time in Buenos Aires, I told you I was starting to go to church by myself every
Yeah.
Sunday, even
Yeah,
though
yeah.
you left.
Right.
And
And 1 year consistently going back to church now.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was a big value for me as well. It's not only about the high performance, the money, the success, or whatever it is. It's also about what like deep inside what kind of person you are.
Okay.
And that was a big value for me, and I
Okay.
also took it into my lifestyle.
Right on.
So
And then let's talk about the third biggest learning lesson that you had. Anything you want to share? Maybe around the toys, the Lambo, the watches, the cars, right? Pretty fun stuff. So I let you wear a watch for the day.
Yeah, you
I
did.
showed you the watch collection. My favorite watches, and then also let you ride front seat in the Lamborghini,
Yeah,
and we
you
went
did.
pretty dang fast in the Lamborghini,
Yeah.
right? So basically, there's a lot of this just wealthy toys stuff that people will see online, and you got to experience that in person.
Yeah.
I always like to say that this stuff is kind of just they're toys at the end of the day. They don't mean anything. They're,
yeah.
If you right, what does God say in the Bible? That at the end of the day, all these things are going to rot. Rust and moths will eat and destroy the stuff you can't take with you to the second life. But the one exercise and the reason why I did it for you was because I wanted you to expand your mind. I wanted you to think bigger. Could you speak on that perhaps as your next learning lesson?
Yeah. Well, that was the fact that when I was wearing your Rolex, your 35K watch.
Yeah.
It feels different. It actually feels different because I'm gonna be totally honest. I wear a watch that I think it costs less than $20.
Okay.
The fact that I was wearing this Rolex was like, oh wow, this is a really nice thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you also took me on the Lambo, we also been to the nicest restaurants in the city, probably in the country, Puerto Rico. I'd say those things were, they actually expand your belief system.
Yeah.
Because in my case, it was all about, for me, the next thing would probably be, making 5K a month. But, there are people who their next level or the next goal is to make $1 million a month. And that really expands your mind in terms of, at one point it's never going to be enough, but at the same time, it's like it's a good thing because you're in constant progress, always looking for the next thing and always looking to grow. And I think that's also the thing you have. You haven't settled down. You haven't said, okay, this is enough for me. I've made it. You literally are successful. Having this house, having your amount of money, having a Rolex, your definition of successful.
Sure.
But you're still pushing, and that's an admiring thing, because many people, when they achieve their goals, they're like, okay, time for me to relax.
Yeah.
And they don't go back at it.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. But the good thing is that I see throughout this environment that people are still pushing, right?
Right.
They're still growing. They're still growing their net worth overall, their businesses. And I'd say that's a really good thing. And always wanting more,
Yeah.
I would say that's my third lesson.
This is what I'll say. So the third lesson, and this is something I want to make very clear to everyone watching this, it's not about the physical object.
It's not about
the physical object, whether that's a car goal, whether that's a toy, it's a watch, whatever that may be. The reason why we have these goals is because they are simply trophies or almost, man, this is crazy. There's Puerto Rican music party, some crazy
Rican
party. Yeah, some party, right? But the point is, these are just simply trophies that represent us hitting different milestones, right? Like, for example, this watch that I'm wearing, I bought when we hit my first $1 million month 2 years ago, right? These are trophies that remind me of, man, I'm so thankful to God. I'm so grateful for what I've been able to accomplish. Oh my gosh, this is super sad. But I don't think the mic is going to capture it, so it's okay.
I don't think so
yeah.
either.
So the biggest thing is, you don't want to idolize, and this is like a piece of advice I'm giving to you right now. You don't want to idolize a nice watch, a nice car, a big house, these things, because if you put them at the center of your life, they will consume you, and the devil will use that to turn it into the ultimate end goal. It's not the end goal. It's just a toy along the way of something that represents the success that you do have. So should you have goals for these? 100% have goals for them, but don't let them become the center of your life. And I think for me, I've always set these things, if I hit this revenue target in my business, I get to my first $100,000 a month, or I make my first $1 million, I'll do this for myself. When I made my first $3 million, I bought my first Lamborghini, right? But when I got to $1 million a month, I moved into this neighborhood, I bought this watch. But in these ways, they just help remind you of how far you've come. But most importantly, your values of who you are. Do you love your family? Do you take care of your customers? Do you do good to your employees? Do you serve the world through the content that you make? These are the most important things, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
It's part of the process. It's not the end goal.
Yeah.
The Lambo is not the end goal.
Yeah, it's not the end goal. That's it, man. I think. Dude, what the hell is this?
Looks like somebody.
Dude,
Somebody's having their birthday.
Yeah. someone's having their birthday.
One of the nicest neighborhoods in Puerto
This is
Rico.
crazy, dude. But anyways, there you go.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest learning lessons. Flying out, my man.
Yeah.
Proud of you, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, let's take a look. See how
Muy
this
bien. Yo creo que